All right, welcome everyone. My name is Mickey, and my co-host today is Stephen, and we will be doing today's webinar, which will be on club executive training on the district version. And so what we'll do is we'll get underway. Before we do, I just want a slight bit of housekeeping. So we already have some members, Nicole and Jennifer, they've already found the Q&A section. This is actually a really important aspect of today. So Stephen today, he'll be handling Q&A, meaning as we go through this session, if you have any questions at all, please do put them in the Q&A box. In the bottom of your Zoom, there should be a bar. You might have to hover your mouse to bring up the menu items. In the bottom of your Zoom controls, there should be a little button that says Q&A, and you can input any questions you have. The Q&A is being recorded. I'd like to spend just an extra couple seconds stressing that because I really want to make sure that everybody's questions get answered today. If they do not, because the Q&A is being recorded, we will find you and we'll follow up on any questions we can't get to live in today's session. There is a Zoom chat. Please do use it. Please feel free to chat with each other if you'd like, or not, if you'd like to focus on the webinar. But please do put all your questions in the Q&A box. Okay. And so with that, what I'll do is I will begin. My name is Mickey, my co-host is Stephen. Today we're going to be doing club executive training on a district website. And I just like to go over the topics that we're going to cover today. So we're just going to review how to actually get to a district website, how to gain access, what if I don't know my login information, how to edit and transfer and terminate members, how to manage your membership, how to edit your club information, how to club executives, adding or removing. That's a big one, and we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to do a brief introduction to RI integration. We're having a webinar, an advanced version of this webinar tomorrow being Sunday. And that webinar will go into greater detail about our integration. We will kind of broach the subject today. At the end of this session, we're going to have a Q&A where we have a live Q&A for today, but we'll also be answering questions after this webinar is over. So please do stay to the end of this webinar where we'll be taking questions live. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, sorry, got ahead of myself here. So we'll go here. Okay, I'm going to begin in Google because most anybody or everybody can get to Google, and that's where we're going to start. This is going to be our step one. You have turned on your computer or your device, and you now want to log in and see your district website. So the first step is to find your district website. You can Google your district website. Pretty much most Rotary districts have themselves on Google. So type in your district number. The name, the word Rotary is optional. You should spell district correct. Let me just correct that. And Google it and go to your district's homepage. So now this is an actual live district homepage. This is District 5000 in Hawaii. We're going to move away from from a live website. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go to a demo district site. So I'm going to go here. And what this is our Club Runner internal district, meaning today, we will not reveal anyone's information, anybody's login name, anyone's address or any of that stuff. This is our demo district website. So we've come here onto a district site, and we'll talk about some of the similarities that all district websites have. Okay, so I went into Google, I found my district homepage. Let's say you made it that far. So now you're on the district website. Now what? So pretty much all club and district Club Runner websites have in the top left, the top right, a member login button. So if you are looking to log into your district, look in the top right of your screen. There's a member login button. Very quickly, a lot of districts, they don't look exactly the same. So your district website may look different than a district website from somewhere else. In fact, this district website may look something or may not look nothing like the district website you have. But all websites in Club Runner have a member login button right here, which I'm going to click on right now. It's going to ask me for my login name and my password. So normally you would put in your login name and password, and that's fine if you know it, fantastic. What if you do not know your login name and password? Let's talk about that briefly. So let's just say, you know what, I think I know my login name, but I don't remember my password, or vice versa. So I'll make this just a bit bigger so you can see it a little better. Okay, so let's just say you forgot either the login name or password. Let's say you forgot your password. I will click here. And what it will come to is this little form that will say, okay, let's get you your login information. Let's retrieve this login information for you. And so what you need to do on a district website, when you're retrieving your login info, select the club. So which club are you a part of, right? Last name is optional. You can type in your last name or you can just leave it empty. So last name is optional. And then you need to put your email address in the form, okay? And if you put your email address, you click submit, you might see a green box that says, hey, we found your email address. Thank you, Mary or Sue or Bob. And we'll email you your login information. Let's take the hypothetical that you put in a valid email address, okay? Or at least the email address that you know, this is my primary one. And it says, the system can't find your login information. In other words, it doesn't know this email address. That happens sometimes where you put in your email address to retrieve your login information, and the system says, I don't know what email address this is. So what we can do is we can use what's called a website contact. So if I'm going to click on this blue button right here, website contact, and it takes me to the district website contact. Sometimes that's your district secretary or your DG or who. This is the person who will who you can contact to say, you know what, I'm not able to log in. You know, it's not accepting my email, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so send off an email to that person and your district contact, and they'll help you log in. Okay, so what I'll do is I will just close this tab. And now, apart from all that, what I'm going to do is I've actually logged in already. So I'm going to go here to this tab, and I've logged in to the member area. When you log into the member area, typically the first screen you see will be this. So we're going to make this make it a little bit bigger. So, okay. So after you log in, you usually come to the to this screen. This is the administration screen. And I'll just scroll down very quickly so you can see I am logged in as a club executive, and that's solely what we're talking about today. You might have a district role, you might be a district executive, etc. Today, we're just talking about club executives who log in to the district website. Club executives who log into the district have limited access, meaning you will not have access to all of Club Runner if you log into the district website. So, one moment, please. Okay. So, when should you use the district website? Because, okay, we found our district website, we logged in. Should we be using the district site? So if your Rotary Club does not have a Club Runner website, by all means, please do use the district website. The district, you can think of the district as an umbrella. It covers all clubs in the district. If one district has, say, 50 clubs, the district, all 50 clubs can log in and use the district website to a limited degree, as we'll find today. So that's when you should use the district website for a lot of the common tasks we're going to talk about today. If your club doesn't have its own club, a club runner, club level website, please do use the district. If you do have a club level website, you can log in through your club site and do a lot of, in fact, do all of the things we're going to discuss today on the district site. You can do them all on the club site and more, because the club site covers more things because it's your personal Rotary Club's website. But for today, we're going to assume that we don't have a club runner, club level website, but we do have access to use the district site. So let's explore that a little bit. First things first, and this is actually a really important one. You log into the district I was mentioning, you're not going to have access to do a lot of things. I'm just using this top blue menu bar. In Club Runner, at the club level and at the district level, when you log in, there's a top blue bar with all these tabs or sections, and then a gray bar directly below it with all the subsections. So if I click membership, I'll get several gray menu buttons, organization and contacts and so on. You're going to see a lot of grayed out menu commands. That's on purpose. I don't have a lot of access, even though I'm logged in as a club executive. So what I want to discuss briefly is if you see a lot of grayed out menu commands, that's actually normal. You're not by default, even if you're, say, club president, secretary, you're not going to have a lot of access to move around the district website. We're going to talk about all the things you can do on a district site. Here's an example of some of the things you can't do. As an example, let's say you're a club executive, club president, what have you. If I click communication right here, some of you might know that if you click on email services, I can send an email. This button is grayed out. I can't click on it because at the district level, club executives cannot send email. District executives can send email and the DG. And it's really important to distinguish when you're on the district site and you're a club executive, you'll still have limited access to use the district website. Today, I'm going to be covering one of probably the most important menu tabs that you should know as a club executive. And that menu tab is the For Clubs menu tab. It's the second one right here. You'll notice pretty much the entire gray bar is grayed out. If I click on the For Clubs menu tab, every button is active. I can click on any of these. Nothing's grayed out in the For Clubs menu tab. This is really the club executives menu tab, this For Clubs menu tab. And this is what we're going to be discussing basically for the majority of this webinar. So I want to talk very briefly now. I'm not going to go exactly in order here. I'm going to just talk briefly about defining club executives. I'm going to click this button. So I clicked on For Clubs, and now I'm going to click on Define Club Executives. It's going to take me to a screen where I can define my club executives. If I am not defined as the president, secretary, treasurer, etc., I do not have access to the For Clubs menu tab on a district website. So I'm logged in as this member, as the club president. Their name is Zenos. That's a Greek name. And what that means is if I were not defined, if I were not properly defined here, I can log into the district site. Every member of your club can log into the district site, even if they're not an executive. But I wouldn't even have access to For Clubs because I am not defined here. So it's very important that you define your club executives, especially at the district level, because without them being defined, that being defined here is what gives all these club executives a little bit of an access bump or an access increase so that they can click on For Clubs and access all of these tabs. So the define club executive section is actually very important. And remember, it's year to year. We're on the cusp of the changeover year, July 1st. So it's just as important. I'm going to click here on next year to define your next year's executives. You can see this club, they haven't defined their next year's executives. We're going to talk about that in a second. So next year is just as important as this year. So I'm going to click here on previous year. let's just talk very briefly about what this screen does. So club executives and directors, Rotary Club, and then the name of your Rotary Club. This club is called Bathurst, okay? And then you can jump back from year to year. So go back one Rotary year, move to 23, 24 Rotary year. So these are the back and forth buttons for year. Carry over next year. What does this blue button mean on the Define Club Executives page? You can take the positions and carry them over into the next year. I didn't say carry the names over. I just said, if you click this button, you can take these positions, president, PE, secretary, and push them into 23, 24, the next year. That's what this button does. We're going to explore it in a second. I just want to talk very briefly about the more simpler method, which is, you know what? I need to edit this list. I see that my sergeant at arms, for example, is not on this list. I want to define my club executive, one of them being sergeant at arms. He is not on this list. Let's put in a club executive. To do so, I'm going to click the orange button, add new position. I'm going to choose my position here. Okay. Now you can see that I have all these positions, executive secretary, but sergeant at arms isn't in here. So what I'll do then is I'm going to put in I'm going to put in kind of a placeholder position. What I'm doing is, because the position here is not present, the one I want, sergeant at arms, is not here, I'm just going to click on club administrator. That's kind of my go-to to say, you know what, I don't really know exactly, or a general position. And I'm going to take out the title and I'm going to put in sergeant at arms. And I'm going to try and spell sergeant right, because that's a tricky word. Let's see if I can just spell check that. Okay. So if you define a position, for example, executive secretary, that's fine. Board chair, membership chair, there's going to be positions that are predefined. If you're trying to define a position that isn't on this list, you can still do that by doing it this way. Okay, and I do apologize. I know administrator is spelled wrong, but we'll keep going. So I've defined my sergeant at arms. Now I actually have to define who is the person. I know that the member, I'm going to click here on select member, is Arthur. Actually, no, let me pick, Arthur's already an exec. I'm going to pick Michael. So Michael Kehoe is my sergeant at arms. And if I click save, I've now added this person to the bottom of the list. And now the district knows that Michael is my sergeant at arms. So that's a simple way to add executives. I can delete executives. Let's say I made a mistake. Oops, it's not really Michael. Let me click edit. Let me edit this. It's actually Judd. I'm just picking someone. So let's say it's Judd, right? I'll click save, and I updated my executives. So this is, I'm going to give you just a little bit of a sneak peek at the RI integration feature. You do not work on Club Runner in a vacuum, meaning it's not just, I just define my sergeant at arms and I'm the only one who knows. All this data gets shared. If your club has RI integration enabled, and I'm jumping ahead, we'll get there. But if it does, this list of names and positions gets synced to RI. Not every position, not every name, but a lot of the top names, president, executive secretary, treasurer, all of these names will get synced, meaning I'm not just updating the list here, I'm also sending this information to RI, to myrotary.org. So don't think that you're just doing this for no reason or just to keep as a bookkeeping record. You are informing lots of people by updating your executive lists. Okay, so I talked about carryover next year. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Let's actually look at our next year. I'm going to click here on next year. It's empty right now. Let me go back to our current year, 22-23. I'm going to click this button. And what's going to happen is the positions and the committees, my yearly committees, moved or got copied. Sorry, I should have said moved. Got copied from 22-23 to year 23-24. Let me prove it to you. When I clicked next year before, the list was empty. If I click next year now, the list has no names, but all of my positions, including Sergeant at Arms, has now been moved. And I can now start defining who's my president for next year, my PE, and so on and so forth. So remember, use this. The bare bones minimum, if you're struggling with the executive list, define your club president for 23-24. I'm going to click edit. My club president for next year, let's just say it's me. I'm the president for next year. And if you do that much, what you're doing is you're giving the person access so that they can start using the district site next year. Because remember, if this list were empty, it had no names, no one really has access to use the district next year because you haven't defined your club executives. So please do define your club executives. It's a really important aspect. Okay, so now let me just go here and I'm going to scroll up to the top. I'm going to click on membership. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. I'm too used to a club website. I'm going to click on 4 clubs, my mistake, and I'm going to click on membership lists. And now we'll see if we can kind of go in order now, because I really want to talk about defined club executives first. When I click on 4 clubs and membership lists, it takes me to the active members list. Okay. Now you'll see there's a club selector here. Okay, I can select the other clubs. If you click on this, there's actually no drop down. If I click, I can actually select other clubs. Like I said, if you were a district administrator, if you're the district governor, so on and so forth, you would have upgraded access. So the people with upgraded access, they can not only edit the member list for one club, they can edit for multiple clubs. You as a club president, secretary, treasurer, so on and so forth, you'll only have access to your club. So like I said, don't worry too much if there's only certain things you can access and certain things you can't. That's by design. So I've already got my Rotary Club of Bathurst. This is my member list. Here, I'll make this just a bit bigger. Hopefully you can, actually I have to make it just a bit smaller so you can see the buttons. So the way that the active member list works is you got the names. What type are they? Are they active? Maybe we have a corporate member, maybe we have some honorary members. You will notice that everybody's access level is 70. I'm not going to spend too much time on, that this is a club access level. 70 does not mean the district access level. This means everybody in the club has level 70 or basic access. Don't worry if your club does not have a club runner website and everybody's level is 70. This 70 access level has 0 bearing when you're talking about a district site. So if you're level 70, or if you know what these access levels mean, if you know that level 30 is the highest club access, you're a website admin on a club site, then it actually has no bearing on the district site. If you're a website admin on a club site, that doesn't automatically mean you have admin rights on a district site. So that's the access level. And then there's an action section where you can change designations, you can change the status, reset password. Very briefly, so the designation, what you can do is you can add member designations. So if someone's a Paul Harris Fellow, et cetera, you can actually add that into your membership. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to click go back. So I want to talk about the 2 other blue action buttons, which are change status and reset password. Now, I'm going to click on change status. And what I can do is I can change the status of someone. If someone is active, but they should be corporate, or they should be honorary, or they should be terminated, excuse me, this is where you can do all that. So for example, I could terminate this person's membership, I can change their membership status, or I can edit their active member type. I want to talk about this, this one, but I don't want to change this person just because I chose the wrong person. I'm going to scroll down and then click go back. I'm going to choose a different member. Let's choose Darren. Actually, I'll choose Truman. So I want to change the status for this member, Truman, with 2 N's at the end of their name. I'm going to click change status. Truman is one of our new active corporate members. Now, Truman accidentally got put in as active. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit Truman's active member type. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to change his membership from active to active corporate. Okay, and I'm going to click save. And if you're wondering what active corporate, how does that exactly work? What does that exactly mean? Great. Please do ask in the Q&A. I'm going to keep going because I am watching the clock. I want to make sure we cover more ground. But this is how you can internally change how members are designated or what type of membership they are. Maybe Truman was supposed to be honorary and they accidentally got put in as active. So you can change all that. Okay, if I scroll down, you can see that Truman's membership type is active corporate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click. Now it took me to Truman's member profile because I changed Truman's member status. So I'm going to click on for clubs and membership lists to go back to my active members list. If I scroll down the list, okay. Oh, sorry. All right. Hold on 1 second, please. All right. Sorry, 1 moment, please. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Just a little worried that, okay, let me go here. Okay. Apologies about that. I was a little nervous that we have some internet hiccups that probably might have been on my end. Sorry about that. So for clubs and membership lists, okay, it takes me back here. And if I scroll down, what I can see is Truman is no longer active. They're my active corporate member type, okay? And you can do that with every member. If you're, let's say, club secretary, as an example, and a couple of members come up to you and they're like, for example, Arthur comes up and says, you know what? I really need to log into the district. I want to explore it. I'm going to be, whatever, up. I'm going to be club treasurer next year. I want to see the district site, but I don't know my password. And, I've been having problems resetting it. As a current year club executive, you can reset members' passwords for them. I'm going to click here on reset password for Arthur. And what I can do is I'm editing Arthur's profile, his member profile. A member profile is the aggregate information for that particular member. Let me just explore before I reset Arthur's password. I'm going to scroll down. A member profile has several sections or tabs. Their personal tab, Rotary, biography, and you can see that there's a lot of information stored in a member profile. As a club executive, you have the right to edit other people's profile information. If that person is not a club executive, you do not have the right to go edit other people's profiles. If you're what we call a regular member, you can edit your own profile information. So you can update your address and phone number and what have you, but you can't touch other people's. As a club executive, you have the right to edit other members in your club. And then, of course, we take it a next step higher. The district administrators and the executives, they can edit profiles for all 2,000 members, the membership of your district. So what I'm doing here is I'm editing Arthur's profile. Because I'm a club executive, I can do that. And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to skip a bunch of his sections right here. And I'm going to click on settings. So here I can see Arthur's login name. Now, we do not reveal passwords. I can't see passwords. I work in the support team. I've never seen anyone's password. So we never reveal a password. You can reset a password. Let me do that. I'm going to just click here on reset password. And what I can do is I can input a new password for Arthur, right? And then I can tell Arthur, okay, Arthur, here's your login name and your new password is, such and such, and try logging in again. I'm going to hit cancel. So as a club executive, you have the access to do such a thing. Okay. Now let's go back to my membership list. So I'm going to click here on membership lists. I want to talk about some buttons near the top. Transfer and add. So let's say you're the club secretary or the membership chair or the person in charge of membership in your district. A new person has come in. They're from Rotary Club of St. Paul, Minnesota, or Houston, or wherever, right? They're from Germany. In other words, What I mean to say is they are a current Rotarian. They have a member ID. When you are inputting someone who already is a Rotarian, they are transferring. They're not a new member, technically. They're just a member coming from a different club. Click here on transfer new member. I don't believe this is going to work, but let's see. Yeah, so we don't have, this is a demo site, so some of our functions are a little restricted, but what the transfer member function does, which I can't show you, you put in the person's name, their email address, their Rotary ID. In other words, you can search for the member and add them. So if, let's say, member Klaus, right? Klaus is joining my club. He is from Germany. He was in Rotary Club of, I don't know, Berlin or something like that. And he moved to North America. So I can find his information because you are searching the worldwide RI database and say, oh, Klaus and his last name and his email, make sure everything matches his RI ID, make sure it all matches. You can pull Klaus's information from myrotary.org and bring it into the district site. So that's where the transfer member search is really handy. You don't have to redo all of Klaus's information. You can grab it from myrotary.org. And to do so, I'm going to click on membership lists again. You can click on the transfer new member button. Okay, now let's take the other case, which is Mary. Mary is a teacher and she's brand new to Rotary, never been a Rotarian before. She's really excited, but she's never been part of any club. In other words, Mary has no Rotary ID. If that's the case, now we would use the orange add new member button. Okay, so we'll come here. Now, I just said Mary's not a Rotarian yet. So if you don't know her Rotary member number, leave it empty, right? So you would enter this information, make sure to report this new member to Rotary International. Sorry, this is a demo site, so we can actually show this or turn this option on. And then you just start by inputting her information, right? Mary Smith and all that other stuff. You go ahead and input her information. What you're doing is you're inputting Mary as a brand new to Rotary member. This is the first time she's joined any club and she's joining your club. And if you click this option, you are sending the information that Mary has given you, her home address or whatever you need. You're sending that information to RI. RI will generate a member profile for Mary and send the Rotary member number back to Club Runner. I'll just take a second to repeat that. You remember, Club Runner is not an island. You're sharing all this information. You add Mary as a member in the district site, put in all her info, make sure that report to RI is selected. As you scroll down and add the member, you are pushing the information to RI, and then RI is pushing the RI ID back into Club Runner. So there's communication. That's that RI integration step, which is really important to turn on. Like I said, this is a demo site, so we can't really turn it on here. Okay, I'm going to click on membership lists. And so those are the two big differences. Have they been a Rotarian ever? Even if they maybe haven't joined a club in the last 10 years, maybe they had a RI ID at some point. Transfer them, right? They've been a Rotarian at some point in their lives. Or are they a brand new member? Add them as a new member. Let me go edit our club information. So I'm going to click here on the third gray tab, which is edit club information. And what this is kind of, instead of member information, what is all the information that pertains to my club? Right, I have some basic information like our meeting times and dates and addresses, right? I know here that Heath is my AG or area governor. Let's actually edit or take a look at our club info. I'm going to click this blue button, edit club info, okay? And what I can do is I can now see, I'll have to make this just a bit smaller, okay? Just so you can see a bit more of it, all right? And you can see there's a lot of information to edit. I can put in the club details. Here's my meeting address, all that stuff. You may be on Zoom. So if I click edit, right, there is a Zoom option or an online, if you're Skype or something like that, your club meets online. And so now you can actually put in your your online meeting information for your club. For example, let's just take Zoom because it's pretty popular, right? You have a a Zoom meeting invite, right? Zoom generates that, and you put it in. You can actually put it in here. The way that this works is this Zoom invitation is private. You can go ahead and post your Zoom. You can even, if you would like to, put in your Zoom password, because this this information is shown to logged in members only. So if someone is trying to, someone can see your club information. Let's say at a meeting address you met on 123 Anywhere Street, that's fine. But then they wanted to see your online meeting information, they would have to log in to see this private Zoom meeting information. Okay, so so there is some contingency for me on meeting online, because a lot of our clubs are now meeting online. Let me hit cancel. All right. So now there's a lot of different options here. So one of the big things is sometimes a club has a different mailing or contact address than what their meeting address is. I'll give you an example. Some clubs are big enough that they actually have a Rotary office. So they might meet at a restaurant or something once a week or wherever, but they actually have a physical address. Or some clubs, smaller clubs, have a PO box. So you can input basically a secondary address separate in the contact info than from the meeting information right here. Okay, and the rest you can explore. There is a red X beside this. I want to talk about this briefly. There's a settings section in your club information that says, I want to hide my member photos from the public. And there's an X, meaning no, we're going to show our photos to the public. That means is when you go to the list of your club executives, right? Whether that be on a district site or on a club website, the members of the public, people who don't have a login, can see the member profile photos. If I click edit and I say, yes, I want to hide all my member photos, what you're saying is I actually just want to turn off my member photo information. You have much more power than just this for your Club Runner privacy options. There's ways to actually disable listing almost anything publicly on Club Runner. In fact, you can even hide yourself from searches. Let's say you don't even want other members of the district or even other members of your club to find you when they search for you in their private member search. You can turn off all kinds of information. So I'm going to click edit. I'm going to turn this back on and click save. And what I want to talk about is, let me just check the clock here, is I want to talk about some privacy options, because privacy is really paramount. We do have some Rotarians, they're attorneys, etc. Their privacy is really important. If I edit, I clicked on 4 clubs and edit club information. I came to this screen. Here's a basic privacy option. I can just turn off just the photos, the photographs inside a member profile. What if I want to turn off a lot more? I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to click on 4 clubs is already selected. I'm going to click on membership. Actually, I'm going to click on 4 members just to show you very quickly, and I can edit my profile. Before I click on edit my profile, the 4 members tab is for everybody. That kind of gives it away. 4 clubs is for club executives. 4 members, it doesn't matter if you're a club executive. You can see that the members, the general members who are not club execs, they only have 4 tabs. They have edit profile, change your password, committees, and email history. So they don't have a lot of functionality as a basic member, a non-executive member on the district site. However, I can edit my profile because every member in the district has the right to edit their profile. I'm going to click on edit my profile. I'm going to go back to it. We only glossed over it when we were looking at it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to spend a second on the rightmost section, which is called privacy right here. I'm going to click this member's privacy tab. I'm going to scroll down just a bit. I want you to see that there's a ton of privacy options. For example, every member of every club and district, they can choose to opt out of all club emails and all club bulletins. What I mean by that is, if the club sends an email to the entire membership, there's members who can say, I don't want that email. We don't recommend that, but the privacy option is there for you to say, no, I don't want to get, for example, any district emails. I don't want any emails coming from the district to come to me. So you can turn off these communication preferences. That's basically one level. Another level is the club runner privacy right here. Okay, so this is where I was mentioning, you can actually, everything's enabled right now. These green check boxes mean allow search. Yes, allow people to search for me in the district or club website. That's very important. This is not allow public search. Some member of the public isn't going to be able to look up your address information, but if one Rotarian wants to look up another Rotarian, they log into a club or district site, they can look you up. So you're saying, yes, allow search. Yes, show my home address in the search results, show my work phone, et cetera, et cetera. If I scroll up and I click the blue edit button, I can turn off options. Just as an example, I don't want my home phone, cell phone, or work phone. I don't want my phone numbers to be shown, all right? When someone searches for me in the district, they can find info about me, but I don't want any of my phone numbers to be displayed. If I scroll up, I click save, I've basically hidden my phone numbers. Let me just scroll down so you can see the red X's. I've hidden my phone numbers from being searched. So they can find my name, they can find my addresses, but they can't look up my phone numbers. This does not apply to website administrators. You can turn everything off if you want. Website admins and people like district executives, they need to find you. So you're hiding yourselves from general Rotarians. You're not hiding yourselves from everybody, because if a district executive or administrator couldn't find you, they couldn't do their jobs. But it's still an extensive list of privacy settings. I went to it by, let me scroll up. I clicked on for members, edit my profile. It brought me to my member profile, and then I clicked on privacy. The last thing I want to discuss is I want to talk about our integration. I kind of alluded to it, and I definitely want to get to some Q&A afterwards. But let me go back and click on the For Clubs menu tab. I'm going to click on For Clubs. There are actually several options here for our integration. We're going to talk about briefly what that means. So I've talked about membership lists, define club execs, edit club info. A lot of these other buttons, these gray buttons, pertain to RI integration. I'm going to click on RI integration right here. And here's a very brief rundown of RI integration. I want you to imagine, this is my metaphor, and you have to stick with me. I'm going to try and make it non-technical. Imagine a building that has 3 floors, okay? So here's a building. The first floor is club. That's the first level. The second level is district level. The last level is Rotary or myrotary.org. RI integration works by moving information up and down throughout the building. The way that RI integration works is the elevator automatically and always goes up, meaning you make a change at the club, it goes up to district, it goes up to RI. You make a change at the district, it'll go up to RI. The elevator always travels upward. But from the top floor, you have to take the stairs down. What I mean by that is, if you make a change at the top level, myrotary.org, you add a member, edit their address information, update their phone number, what have you. You have to take that change and manually bring it down to district or club. So in this imaginary 3-story house or building, the data always travels up automatically. You have to take the stairs down for myrotary.org. What does that mean in the real world? You are, let's say, for example, you've got a new member. You've got Mary, right? They're my new member. and I need to input Mary. Should I input Mary? Where should I input Mary so that I can save myself the least amount of work? If your club has a club level website, put Mary in there. If not, go to the district, click on for clubs, membership lists, and then remember there's that orange button, add new member. If you add Mary at the club or district level, it automatically flows to myrotary.org because that's how our integration works. Our integration connects the two databases together so that they talk to each other. There's the Club Runner database on one side and RI on the other, and they pass information back and forth. RI database integration needs to be turned on once. What I mean is your club may have integration turned on. If you're not sure, click log into the district, click on for clubs, click on RI integration, see if it's turned on. Now, this is our testing club. So right now, our integration is not turned on. In other words, we are not sharing information between club and district and Rotary International. If our integration was turned on, then we would be sharing that information. You turn it on once, meaning usually your club president or secretary does some steps. They go to My Rotary and they choose Club Runner as their vendor partner. And that's it. If you turn it on once, it's turned on forever or for as long as you're a Club Runner subscriber, meaning if you turn it on, then you don't have to turn it on next year. It's basically on for as long as you're a customer of Club Runner. And when it's turned on, you are passing information back and forth, right? Up and down this building, right? I'm editing Mary's, I'm adding Mary as a new member. I'm editing Joe's phone number. I'm updating Susie. She just moved, so I'm updating Susie's address for her, or she's updating it herself. All of those member changes and executive changes, right? We talked about for clubs and defined club executives. All of the member and executive changes that happen in a club, if RI database integration is turned on, that means that the information automatically gets sent up the levels, okay? And so what I'll do is I am going to just pause, and I definitely want to make sure we have some time for Q&A, and I can see some of the Q&A going on, and someone has some great questions. Stephen, I'm gonna let Stephen kind of take over. Are there any questions that you'd like to go over, Stephen, or anything you want to discuss?
So yeah, I've been going through the Q&A. Some great questions are being asked. There's a few that I haven't got to quite yet. So this one's from Jennifer. She's asking, so from a privacy perspective, you mentioned that a club member can turn off phone number privacy, but a district administrator can still find them by searching. How does that work?
It's a great question. So let me go back, because that's an excellent question by Jennifer. So and if it's okay, Jennifer, I'm going to repeat your question. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on for members, and I'm going to click on edit my profile. I want to edit my privacy settings. So Jennifer asked, okay, you can turn off your phone number or whatever. I'm going to click here on my privacy tab in my member profile. And I'm going to scroll down. You can see some red X's. Here's how this works. The district has a search, and it lists all, let's say a district has about 2,000 members. That's a rough figure. So it lists all the 2,000 members. I can search for anybody. But if I'm a regular person, meaning I'm not an executive, not a district admin, club exec, so on and so forth, I will not see phone numbers. If I will not see that person's phone number in the search result. If I'm a district admin, I will see the phone number. And on top of that, I can just go edit their profile, because we were mentioning about club access levels. The higher access you have, the more information you have access to. So a district admin, for example, the district administrator, that's the highest access level. The district admins can do anything they want in the district. That's why there's usually only a few, like sometimes 3 to 5 district admins per district, right? It's pretty powerful access. So you can't really hide your info from them. but you can hide your info from Mary and Joe and Bob and Sue and, regular non-executive Rotarians, people without enhanced access. Let me just show you very quickly. I've turned off my phone number, okay? And I don't actually know how to spell my name. I'm going to copy Zenos. I'm going to click on membership and member search. We didn't really talk about this, but now it's our chance to Q&A, dive a little deeper. I'm going to click on member search. So membership, member search. Everyone in the district can log into the district. They can all click on membership. They can all click on member search. This search is open to all your Rotarians in the district, legitimate members, of course. So this is not a public search, it's a private search. I'm going to paste in my first name, and I know I'm from Bathurst. Okay, I don't remember my last name because these are all fake names. I'm going to click search. Let's see if I need to put in more information. So there I am. Now this is cheating a little bit. This is yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know if I have a phone number in here if I listed one, but if I were a regular member, even if Zenos, right, this person, I've just found somebody, right? I found them, but even if they had a phone number, it wouldn't get listed here. And that's what I'm doing is I'm turning things on and off. I'm preventing myself from showing in these district searches, right? So I can turn off specific things. For example, my home address, right? I don't want to show that. I can turn that off. I can even just completely turn myself off from searches. What I mean by that is if a non-district admin, like someone without high levels of access, came and looked for me, they couldn't find me like a regular non-executive Rotarian, right? Because what I do is I'd scroll up, I'd click on for members, I'd click on edit my profile. In my profile, it's the rightmost tab that says privacy. And if I scroll down, if I click the edit button, I'm going to do that right now, I can actually just turn off my search altogether. Done. No one can find, sorry, no regular member can find me. District admins, executives can, but no regular members can find me. Okay. And I'm going to hit cancel because I actually don't want to do that. I hope that answered your question, Jennifer, because that was an excellent question. All right.
So we also have another one from Jennifer. What if a club does not have a paid club runner website? And I see she also commented addendum from a syncer perspective. So I believe she's wondering where clubs can go for RI synchronization.
Yeah, that's a great question. So today's webinar is actually kind of for a lot of the clubs. They don't have a club level club runner website, meaning you're going to be doing most of your work through this district site. As a club executive, that for clubs menu tab, this one again that we kind of talked about in detail today, this is where you come. So let's say you don't have a club runner club level website. You can still edit your active member list and synchronize it with RI using the district website. You'd come here, log into the district, click for clubs, click RI integration right here, and you'd set up our integration. I'll go over very briefly. I won't go, like I said, we're going to do advanced stuff in a different webinar, but you log into the club president or treasurer or executive, the club president or secretary, or sometimes it's the executive secretary. They log into My Rotary. I'm not going to read all this. I'll leave it on the screen if you want to read it, but they log into My Rotary. They select Club Runner and as their database vendor. It takes about 24 hours for all the settings to kick in. Once it does, you'll come back here, this yellow box that says, hey, you need to turn on our integration. Once the setup is done at myrotary.org, at the district website, this yellow box will turn into a green box that says, hey, your integration is now turned on. So you can use RI integration at the district level, just as you can at the club level. So in that sense, your club doesn't need a club runner club level website. You can just use the district site to handle all your RI integration. I hope I answered that question. All right.
So we did have one from Tony along the same lines. Is RI turned on for all clubs, and how do they check?
Yeah, so the short answer is no. Our integration is not automatically turned on because RI doesn't know if you're using Club Runner or using something else. To check, remember, need to be a club executive here, right? To check, log into your district site, okay? Let's say you're a club secretary or what have you. You need to be a club exec. Click for clubs after you log in. Click RI integration. It says new. We really should get rid of that word new. But RI integration new, and you'll come to this screen. You'll know that it's turned on if, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. This yellow box is a green box with a check mark. I'm sorry I can't show you today. Like I said, is our testing site, so that we're limited. This our integration is not turned on. I have a yellow box saying, hey, you need to switch on our integration. That's basically what the yellow box means. If in place of this yellow box, you have a green box that says, hey, our integration is on, you actually have a little checkbox option. That's how you know it's turned on. Yellow box, it's not on. Green box, that would take this place, it is turned on. So that's how you know your club has it or not. Okay. That's also an excellent question. Any more, Stephen?
So we have one more from Catherine. What do you do if an executive has taken a leave of absence during the year?
Yeah, that's a really tricky question. I'll try to answer it the best of my abilities. Normally, what happens, it depends on the length. If the executive's only gone a couple weeks, maybe they don't have to step down from their role. Let's take the example of, I don't know, secretary. That's kind of a big role. Your club secretary has a sabbatical and they're gone for 4 months or 6 months. So there's sometimes, and this is really per club, I hesitate to give you a definitive answer. What some clubs do, they have interim executives. So the secretary is gone for 6 months, left the country, whatever reason. So there's an interim secretary in their place. Here's how that works. I'm going to click on for clubs, define club executives. My secretary is Shannon. Shannon is on sabbatical for 6 months. She's gone to Africa or something like that, or Europe. I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to replace Shannon with Jeanette. Okay, so Jeanette is taking over Shannon's role for now. I'm going to click save. I'm overwriting the new secretary. So Shannon is gone. Jeanette is in here in Jeanette's in the secretary's place. So Jeanette is going to take over secretary duties, let's say for 6 months. Shannon gets on a plane, hops back to come back to North America. She's like, thank you so much, Janet, or Jeanette, for taking over my position. Shannon is back, and it's 6 months from now. Click edit, and I'm going to choose Shannon again. Okay, that's not a definitive answer. So now Shannon is back in this role. So you can actually flip secretaries mid-year. You can do that if the secretary is gone long enough. So I hope that at least helps a little bit. I guess my longer answer is sometimes it depends. Some clubs do it a little bit differently, but this is generally how you do it. If they're gone, there's typically an interim executive who fills in the spot for that missing person. The missing person returns, they take over that role. And I hope that answers the question. All right.
We do have another one.
Yes, please.
From when can club execs set up the RI integration? Now or from July 1st? I believe they can set it up whenever, right, Mickey?
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to take this one, Stephen? Please do.
Yeah, so as Mickey went through the RI integration page on that new page, you can opt in at any point in time. There's no like time that's best. You can opt in at any point in time. It doesn't have to be July 1st.
I would say it's almost preferable. Like if you want to turn on, like, we're a couple months from July 1st, turn it, if your club doesn't have it turned on, turn it on now. You only help yourself by turning this on. There's 2 databases right now. If our integration isn't on, there's a wall between the 2 databases. Remove the wall, get the information flowing. It'll help you. It'll only help you as you move forward. But it's a great question. Fantastic. Any more questions, Stephen?
Just one more from Anonymous. Is there another advanced club runner session other than tomorrow's session, as I cannot attend it? So we are recording all sessions, and we will be posting them to our support page so that they can be viewed at any time and by anyone.
That is an excellent question, and I think I just left my full screen here. Okay, so I'm going to go to clubrunner.ca/training. I really want to bring that up. Hold on one second. I'm in oh, okay. I might have to go like this. I really want everybody to see this because you might have actually used this link to register. Let me make this nice and big. That's why I wanted my notepad, because this is actually a really nice place to kind of segue into. So use this URL, clubrunner.ca/training. I'm going to go back to my browser. So sorry for kind of switching screens on you here. And I'm going to paste in the, so there's a lot of advanced webinars for the next week and a half. So if you come to our changeover page, and make this just a bit bigger. You may or may not have come to, as an example, we have a webinar exclusive for district admins. We have, I mentioned that tomorrow is this is today's webinar, I guess we'll call it the non-advanced webinar, where it's just for general members. And then tomorrow we're going to have a more advanced session for our club executives. But that's really the tip of the iceberg. I'm not going to read over every webinar, but there's lots and lots of other webinars that you can register for. They usually denote if they are beginner. And if there is a beginner webinar, there's a corresponding advanced webinar. So you'll be able to see that. I'll make that just a bit bigger. Hopefully you can see that. Now, there's a part of that question is also important. I can't attend it. Let's say, oh, I really want to do the advanced membership management R integration webinar. It's at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday. I can't make that. So that's why I wanted to give you this. This URL is not just for registration right now. Once the webinars are over, it'll probably be sometime beginning of May. Use the exact same URL. Keep using clubrunner.ca/training. And let me go back to that page. These blue register buttons that you see running down the right side of the screen, they will all turn into view recording buttons. So right now you can register for webinars that are coming up next week. After changeover is done, after all the sessions are concluded, these buttons will all become the video recording buttons. So you can actually watch the video recording of any webinar you missed, come back to clubrunner.ca/training, and these will all change into view recording buttons. All right, and hopefully we answer that question. Any other questions?
So Jeff, actually, we answered the question right here. Where can I register for tomorrow's advanced session? So if you just click on the blue register button, you can then fill out the form and you will be registered for it.
Fantastic. Awesome. Any other questions at all, Stephen?
I did get two people reach out about logins. I'm going to reach out to them after the webinar just because we don't want to provide any personal information. So I'm going to reach out to them to their personal emails after to provide some login help.
Fantastic. Well, would you like to go over any more questions, Stephen? Did you want to...
I believe that's everything from the Q&A.
Phenomenal. All right. So what I'll do is, and I apologize. Let's see if I can find, there it is. Okay. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to conclude. So first, I want to make sure to thank everyone who has come here this evening. Thank you so much for attending. These changeover training sessions are some of the most exciting of our year. We love being able to do this. Every major module of Club Runner is going to be discussed in the next week and a half or so. So thank you for joining us this weekend. I can't stress enough, please email us. If you have any issues, questions, problems, just I'm not sure how this works, or step 3 in the instructions doesn't make sense, please send an email, support@clubrunner.ca. We love hearing from you, but more importantly, we'd love to help you because you should never be stuck, right? And Club Runner is a large piece of software. You should never need to worry about navigating the software alone. Please send us an email. We love hearing from our customers. We have an online community, clubrunnercommunity.com, where it's basically a message board. The messages are public, but but you must be a Club Runner Rotarian to post on Club Runner Community. So it's a public but closed message board. Not just anybody can post, they have to be a Rotarian from North America, Italy, Australia, what have you. So if you want to get in touch with other Rotarians worldwide, please go to clubrunnercommunity.com. And then finally, you may have already heard about it. It's pretty popular. Please go to clubrunner.com/mobile. If you don't know about our free mobile app, it's free for iPhone or for Android. And it's going to help you basically take Club Runner wherever you are, because our Club Runner mobile app is Club Runner in your pocket. So if you'd like to learn more about it, please do go to clubrunner.com/mobile. We do have a webinar this week coming up just on the Club Runner mobile app. So I hope you'll check that out. If you can't make it live, please watch the recording. I would really like to thank from myself and from Stephen, I really like to thank all of you for attending today. As I mentioned, this session is going to be recorded, and please give us a few weeks. So by beginning of May, the recording of this session will be live, so you can share it with anyone who couldn't make it today. And I just want to say thank you again, and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.